Hip Hop Town Hall, one-on-one with MC Lazarus, a.k.a. the most relevant MC of the world because he's also a doctor, Dr. Khan. So you want to be there and check that out. For real. You want to listen to every word he spits and what he says. So you want to tune in exclusively right here on RapStation. You're not going to see this anywhere else. It's time to pay attention, not play attention, hip-hop. It's the world we live in. I don't need it in the studio and everybody's cool. What's up? Welcome to the RapStation COVID Crisis Talk Hip-Hop Town Hall, one-on-one in a very relevant situation. Most relevant /MD right now in hip-hop right about now because this is a crucial time that we probably never, ever witnessed. And I've been here almost 60 years. I mean, a couple months away from that. I've never seen anything like this. Make sure history is not a mystery, because when it's not a mystery, you can look up and see other times like this and other times of pandemics and sicknesses and things that ran across the world. And also being across the world, 116 countries, I've seen situations where there's some kind of urgency dealing with disease, pestilence, and all those other things. So we have Dr. Khan, a.k.a. Lazarus, who's a MD and an MC on the front lines. And I'm very happy we got you on this tonight to clear some myths, to answer some questions, and also like to draw the line of what it takes to be on that front line as an MC and communicating as an MC, as you've been doing for years. It's not one of these things where you all of a sudden wanted to MC one day, doctor, or you just wanted to become a doctor. Neither of those things happen fast. And so welcome, Doc. How are you?
Man, I'm doing great, man. Alhamdulillah, man. I'm just out here right now in Vegas. Glad to be off from work today. Just working on the front lines, man. But before I get into that, man, I just wanted to give you a salute, to the godfather of hip-hop himself, Chuck D, for giving me this platform to speak. It's a crazy time, like you said. It's never been witnessed before. And there's people that's genuinely scared out there in the world, man. There's fear everywhere. And, we want to try to dispel that fear and also give people some information that's going to be worthwhile for them at the same time.
I dealt with you on this platform because during this crisis where everybody's been locked in the crib, locked down, can't go nowhere, what we've seen is the passage of people being citizens into netizens. Because a lot of citizens, I guess, rights were kind of, pushed to the back. I wouldn't say
right.
But saying, no, this is sort of like a law telling you don't go nowhere or else.
Right.
Well, a lot of people got acclimated to the Instagrams out there and the Facebook Lives and the YouTubes and all the social platforms, which is great for the average, for the public. For content makers and producers and creators, maybe this, it's an option to have your own voice without, a middleman. And this is what RapStation has always been about. We've been about the hip-hop epicenter, 10 station channels on the other side of this application for years. But now it's come front and full circle, the need to actually come on a platform like this and be able to speak straight out without anything pulling you down, tapering you. And this goes out to all the other providers, content creators and producers out there. You want to put your stuff on your .com, your own stuff. You want to store things on your hard drives and not necessarily push your stuff and keep it stored on other platforms, which could be one hack away. And that's and we've seen in the real world of citizens, people have been saying for the longest time, we one major virus away from a pandemic, chaos, disorder, and also a crumbling effect to all these things around us that people, especially in the Western world, Northern Hemisphere, take for granted. And here we are. So
exactly.
When I think the most relevant MC at this particular time is because we're dealing with the most relevant, crucial situation ever. So,
right.
Exactly. Hip-hop wise, we want to keep it hip-hop. I saw Willie D and Scarface. On Willie D's show, he had Scarface on talking from his bed, saying he was down for 8 weeks, and then he had kidney failure. We lost a person you just did a track with not too long ago, 35 years old, Fred the Godson.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Jazzy Jeff, I reached out to Jazzy Jeff not long ago. He said, "Yo, Chuck," he said it was crazy. So right now, man, people say whatever they want to, but right now at this point, I pointed to you as being a person to live an actual life.
Right. And you know, Chuck, it's crazy because it's like, you know, the situation kind of gave me that responsibility because as you've known, and you've been following me since about 2014, man, you know, I'm a people's rapper, man. You know, there's rappers out there, man. They have various topics they talk about that's, you know, maybe relevant to the party that's going on Friday night or Saturday night. But man, like I've always been keen on making hip hop that's relevant for the people at large, man, and just speaking on topics that other people might be a little scared to talk about. So I've always been the people's MC. So being a people's MC, man, there's a responsibility that comes with it. And me being a physician on top of being an MC, I feel like I'm in a position of responsibility where I need to share the information that I'm getting from the hospital and the patients that I'm seeing and communicating that to the people because the youth and the masses, they listen to hip hop as their education. And my way to educate people is through the rhymes, through the hip hop and through those tools.
Yeah, and one of the misnomers about hip hop and rap, you know, and you let the narrative of let's say the media say it, it's a youth music, it's only people. And how could something that's been around and recorded wise since 1979, 42 years, just appeal to a certain demographic? If a demographic leaves hip hop, that means something wasn't upkept for them to stay around. But we can go on RapStation and all other things, not to just sell what we do. But this is real and this is serious to us, where you can listen to hip hop at 52, just like you with John Coltrane or Miles. So,
and you know that barrier. I'm not to cut you off, but that barrier with hip hop is that it's a divide that people have in society that's broken with hip hop. You see people in the concert halls that you do in front of all those people. You see people of all cultures and races uniting through hip hop, and that's the power of it. You know what I'm saying?
And you've been rhyming with Wu-Tang for the last 5 years on tour with them. And if people don't know that, where do you go to find out about that? And the rest of the world is so far advanced on hip hop. If it was an Olympic, would the United States of America even get the brass? So this is where we're trying to bring it full circle to say that you can have a conversation, be in hip hop, but still have a conversation that's pertinent to saving, humanity and also making you have a clear vision ahead. I mean, I saw another great show I see online is Chris Broussard, the sports writer. I'm on his show next week. And he had the great Craig Hodges from the Chicago Bulls, and they talk about The Last Dance. And Craig had something very serious about athletes and entertainers. And so when the media or all out the powers that be out there try to infantile us, Craig simply said, at which point in time are we mature? And hip-hop has an element about itself that can be not just the party in the room, but the security at the door. And that's why I give you those props just to start this off, bro.
Man, I appreciate that so much, man. And just like you said, it's times like this that spawn the type of content that's coming out. Like I just played you my new song with Fred the Godson, man. And shout out to 80 Empire for producing that record, man. But like you asked me in the past, like, yo, how does an event like this affect you musically? And, I'm the type of person, I'm on the front lines, I'm in the hospital, I'm treating the patients. But at the same time, when I get inspired musically, like I have to jump in the studio and express that as well. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like, that's the beauty of hip hop music, man.
Now, have you seen and heard some ridiculous nonsense out there, bro? Like that makes you as a doctor shake your head like where the hell they get that from?
Man, all the time, like the 5G theory, man. I mean, it's like people come up with these little illogical things and they start saying that like these cell phone towers are causing this radiation that's decreasing our immune system. But, I've been trying to do the study on my end. There ain't no medical journal talking about it. The American Cancer Society has stated that, radio frequencies needed to cause any kind of DNA damage. We're not getting that from any cell phone tower or from any cell phone. You know what I'm saying? That's just a ludicrous statement that people are making. But I'm here to tell people what the real is from what I see in the hospital. People still thinking this is not real. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people saying that celebrities are getting paid to say, that they have the virus when, you know what I'm saying? Everybody feel like there's some other kind of agenda behind it. But the bottom line is this is real. I see it.
So people get their information basically coming through these gadgets. So whatever whatever they sucking on that comes that way, they're gonna go spit it right back and say this is what it is, be it through a chat or whatever. We hear and we see all that. But when it comes down to the life and death thing, like it's hitting major cities, when you have people living like on top of each other and cheek to jowl, they can't have a social distance really. That's urban cities ain't playing like that.
Yeah.
So how does a virus spread? Get that fact out. How?
Yeah. So there's a lot of misinformation and myths about that too. But the bottom line is, man, the way that the virus is spreading is just the way the flu spreads, through respiratory droplets. So, Chuck, if somebody's coughing around you, sneezing around you, they got it. If that respiratory droplet gets into your eyes, nose, and mouth, that's how this virus is spread. So that's why, we want to make sure that if you're around a lot of people, to wear the mask, the surgical mask, and just make sure that you're not spreading that virus around to other people. Now, people thinking that it's in the air, that it's floating around. It's not floating around in the air. So when somebody coughs or sneezes it out, it's going to fall to the ground after that. So it's not just going to, if it was lingering in the air, everybody would have it right now.
Bro, I'm not a germaphobe, but I tell you, man, like when I'm on a plane, I purposely just count the amount of coughs and sneezes.
Yeah.
Coming off
that's like infinite right there.
Yo, man, it's crazy, man. So, okay, so therefore, the touching of an item, and they say, well, it can stay on metal for like a week or something like that, all that talk.
Yeah, no, it can. I mean, for 3 days, it can stay on surfaces. So, the best thing to do about that is just to make sure you ain't touching your face all the time. Try to keep your hands away from your face. Make sure you're sanitizing and washing your hands as frequently as possible. I mean, and those are practices that we should have been following.
Yo, bro, I can tell you the amount of times I would go to a bathroom in the air. Dude that just went to the bathroom, goes to the bathroom over here, and combs his and walks out and shakes hands.
People living like dirty animals, man. We got to stop that first and foremost.
What are the symptoms when they talk about a symptom?
Yeah,
somebody that has a symptom supposed to show.
So Chuck, unlike the flu, man, with the flu, you start having symptoms right away. So let's say you just got infected with it, right? So the next day you start having symptoms. It's a little different with this thing. It's that you could be asymptomatic, you could have no symptoms for 5 to 12 days. So up to almost 2 weeks. So now that's why it's important for us to continue this social distancing, is because a lot of people could be out there in the public. Imagine, Chuck, somebody that's in a concert hall that doesn't know they have it, and how many people they're spreading it to right then and there. You know what I'm saying? So you got the asymptomatic phase. The next phase of the virus is when somebody develops the fever. You start getting a 102, 103 fever, and then you're going to have a dry cough associated with it. So at that time, you think you might still have the flu, right? And then after that phase passes, you might even get better and feel like, okay, I conquered the virus, it's over. But that's when you hit the third phase. And the third phase is the dangerous phase. That's when you can't breathe. All of a sudden, you get winded to the point where you feel like you walked up 30 flights of stairs and you feel like the lungs of a 90-year-old is in you. So that's the time period when somebody needs to go to the hospital right away and get started on the treatment. Because the longer we wait to treat the patient, the worse their lungs are going to get.
That's when it sets in you. It says the setting, like, matter of fact, y'all tuned in to RapStation. This is the COVID Crisis Talk Hip Hop Town Hall, one-on-one with the most relevant MC ever, Dr. Khan, a.k.a. Lazarus. He's a real MC. He's been around quite some time. He does stadiums and arenas with Wu-Tang, but he's a real doctor on the front line in his hospitals in a couple of cities in the United States. So don't get it twisted. This dude's the real dude. Anybody else you find is trying to figure out how to become an MC or how to become a doctor. This dude's both right here on the Town Hall Crisis. So I've heard like people that kind of like work out, get their wind right, they active and all that. Yeah. They pass through the virus or the symptoms quicker than somebody who's sedentary. They sit down all the time. Yeah. People, so when they say quarantine, what does that actually mean? Somebody who's not moving and just kind of still all the time?
No. Being quarantined doesn't mean you sitting there like a vegetable. Being quarantined is basically you keeping your distance from the masses. You keeping distance from everyone around you, 6 feet. But, just kind of taking the proper precautions too, man. Make sure you're taking your vitamin C, Make sure you're taking zinc, black seed, ginger. All those things that's going to help boost your immune system so that you're ready to fight this virus if you get infected by it, man. So that's what the self-quarantining is. And if somebody has symptoms, let's say they got the fever and they got a dry cough, don't go to the hospital because you got a better chance of getting worse if you go to the hospital at that stage. So my advice as Dr. Khan is that don't go to the hospital till you can't breathe. That's the signal. Once you can't breathe, because there's people that don't get to that stage. Because like you said, they have strong immune systems and they might be able to fight the virus off. But if your virus happens to get to that stage where you can't breathe, that's when you got to go to the hospital and start on medication. And we can talk about that, momentarily.
So when you talk about, like, especially younger people, they coming in and out of the crib back in the beginning of this, right? And you got an older person at the house or whatever. Who he's kind of
So the best thing, obviously, the older person is the one that's going to be more prone to worsening of the virus. So we want to keep our distances from our elders, from our parents, from our uncles, aunts, people in close. We want to make sure that we're distant. We keep distant from them, and then we keep them safe because they're the ones that are most at risk with this virus. Wow. Not to say the young people can't get it, especially if they have asthma, COPD, anything like that.
So that's maybe one of the cases like Fred the Godson or somebody. Yeah.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Fred had asthma.
See, and it's just what I'm saying. There's a lot of cats, I'm saying artists 40 years under, kind of like seeing, and I'm saying musicians and artists, they seen lifestyle habits that kind of like don't behoove longevity past 50. And I know a lot of artists are like, okay, I'm young, I'm 22, I'm not looking at 50. But what we've seen over the last 10 years is this cats crossing into their 40 zone. It's a danger zone, man, in the area of diabetes, hypertension, all these other factors, man.
Yeah.
Artist lost Steezo 2 days ago, heart attack. So all these other factors are coming in.
Matter of fact, I've actually seen that they've got a study showing that the high blood pressure, uncontrolled hypertension actually leads to 1.7 times the mortality factor with this virus. So you're that much more prone to die from it with hypertension. And hypertension, best believe, is very common and it's very uncontrolled all throughout the globe.
Very common. We all struggle. Look, I get my regimen on, and heredity, even affects, me trying to fight, those things of hypertension and all that. Although I kind of like, you got to put it out of your mind and just go against the grain, to work out, eat right. And they still have this thing that lingers in you from the heredity. Is that true?
Yeah, no, definitely. People definitely can be more genetically prone to these kind of illnesses, man. And that's why we got to be real careful with what we eat as well. You know what I'm saying? We got to make sure we're maintaining diet, exercise. All those things play a part now, too. It's not just that, social distances is the only answer. No, we got to make sure we take care of our bodies because at the end of the day, how healthy we are is going to determine how we fight this virus.
Hey, listen, man, we know as a hip-hop generations, remember I said plural, right? Hip-hop nation around the world, it seems like cats always want to do the cool thing and then show everybody else the cool thing might be what they ingest.
Yeah.
But the cool thing ends up not really being the cool thing. Then it's too, man, like a bad viral move. Like if you got your smoke, but you balance that off, or if you drink it, but you balance it off with water, and I don't do neither, but I'm just saying that I've seen some cats who are really smart about knowing what goes inside them. And as opposed to some cats that just think they got to do it because they just like
and at this particular moment in time, we want to try to keep our lungs as free from irritants as possible. And that's a hard dialogue I have with a lot of people. It's a hard dialogue I have with a lot of people.
It's a hard dialogue because they look at you as an MC or MD. I mean,
it's hard because that's a part of so many people's everyday life to smoke. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just talking weed, but I'm talking cigarettes and just getting any kind of smoke into your lungs or any kind of irritant. And right now, that's definitely going to make things worse from you if you get infected. So
Dr. we're talking to the most relevant MC on planet Earth. This is what it is, bro. What it is. You're the most relevant. You should be covered by all these hip-hop magazines and all. I've been able to catch you a couple of times with us supporting you, as well as us supporting you at RapStation, with DJ Falad, giving you some time and big up to that.
Yeah, shout out to Vlad. What's up, Vlad?
Okay, you know, you balance out the MC and hip hop when you say something or you rhyme something that's clear as a bell. You must be also kind of like disappointed at the lack of know-how about you and also support.
Well, I mean, Chuck, the honesty about that, man, is basically like, you know, the quote unquote, you know, people in the business suits that have approached me in the past, man, you know, if I told you the type of I'll tell you the type of dialogues they've had with me is basically, yo, intelligence does not sell. Don't be smart. Dumb your shit down. Talk like a second grader. It's kind of like, you know, it's like you a slave and you being told don't recite your name. So telling Kunta Kinte, don't say your name. It's like trying to hide who you are. You know what I'm saying?
That shit racist. But let me tell you, every time that dude, Dr. Fauci, got on TV, everybody was like listening like this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If he say one little thing that way, it was like almost like, you know, the old movie Trading Places.
Right. You censored. It's like censorship. And, you know, the agenda is to keep us dumbed down and to keep marching around like animals. But the bottom line is, man, like, I'm trying to change the infrastructure of what is considered cool, because right now being an intellect and being smart and being on top of what's going on in the real world, that's not considered cool, unfortunately. But, you know, I'm fortunate enough to have role models such as yourself, Chuck, to sway me the other way.
Well, I mean, my whole thing is like this forum is not like, I'm not going to come on this thing and like, okay, every time, you know, I'm not going to do a weekly thing like Chuck D's Weekly, you know, like I'm trying to be the Ted Koppel of hip hop. No, but this forum is going to be where I'm going to get behind somebody and other voices that want to use this forum and say something important and get behind it. Next week, I'm going to actually speak with a woman who I did a blurb for a book based on the food crisis, you know, and how food has been weaponized, not just in the United States of America, but across the world. Her name is Kristen Lawless. And wrote the book called formerly known as Food, which made me do the song "Food as a Machine Gun" for Enemy Radio. Shout out to the Lord Scott E, also the David Snyder, the Impossible C. Dot. So yeah, so you know, what can people do? No. Before I get into that, front lines, bro.
Yeah,
I'm asking Dr. Khan right here. I'm asking Lazarus, the most relevant MC and an MD right about now. People don't believe you. You on the front lines. What we've been seeing on all the news stories is workers who are dying for being the first responders on the front line. They talk woman, the nurse that committed suicide. I think she was a doctor, and she committed suicide. She just saw too much in New York.
Too much.
And you know, me and my family, my aunt, my uncle, not from the same thing, but it touched my uncle who came in to take care of his wife, my aunt. And, you know, the tragedy is you got to almost process your mind like, this is war, man. So it
is war.
This war.
Yeah. So basically, man, I step foot in the hospital every single day. I have to basically make a prayer to myself that, look, whatever I'm about to go and do, whatever kind of risk I'm putting myself through right now, it's it's for humanity and it's for the right cause, man. And at the end of the day, we all gotta die, right? We all gotta go. Wow. So for me to be in a position where I've taken an oath to save lives and to be this physician, it's like my responsibility. I can't call off. You know what I'm saying? I can't take a day off. I have to go through. So I go to work every day with that mentality. So before I even walk in the hospital, they check my temperature. And they make sure to check that I don't have symptoms just to even enter. So there's actual people that are guarding the entrance just to make sure that you're good to even walk into the hospital. Once they clear me and check my temperature is fine and I'm healthy, then I put my mask on, I go in the hospital. And as soon as I walk in, you got to understand, I'm constantly surrounded by people that are exposed to COVID-19. And I already know what kind of, repercussions a lot of people are having, healthcare workers. There's doctors in my hospital that are getting sick. One of the intensivists that I work with in the ICU, he's actually in quarantine and he's in very bad shape. So, I'm walking with this kind of fear, but at the same time, it's like it's motivating me to be strong and to get through it. So I start seeing my patients. And then we have actually the COVID-19 patients are on a specific floor, right? So once I walk into that floor, I make sure I got my protection proper, my eye protection. In the beginning, there were no supplies. We didn't have enough supplies. There was times when we had to keep reusing the same mask over and over again. And there's actually doctors that died from this, from having to reuse the same mask on patients over and over.
So what does this do to the hospital? It definitely stretches, because if you got one side of the hospital, which ain't a full side now, it ain't a full hospital, and they deal with the crisis. And then, you still got hypertension, people coming in, heart attacks, trauma.
Right.
So it stretches it, right? It thins it out.
It does, but it's like, we're trying to separate the patients. So the patients that come in to have, the COVID-19 or the rule out for COVID-19, we're trying to keep them in a separate area, so that also, the health staff that are in that area could be properly protected, with the right gear. So we have all the equipment in the right places. Because, once you walk into that zone of the hospital and you start seeing those patients, you got to basically just go in and you got to start checking. You got to put your stethoscope on these people. You got to listen to their lungs. You got to listen to how they're sounding, how they're doing, and how their symptoms are. And you're constantly in full exposure to this virus. So
right now the talk is this swirling, which runs into like pharmaceuticals and all that talk about the money. Let's say the conspiracy that's out there. They talk about remdesivir. They're talking about other things that kind of like building blocks in the trying to lead to a vaccine. And then the vaccine, you got these certain companies out there, and it's a big money game, but also is shrouded by saving the planet, and also shrouded by somebody who thinks that they could get the vaccine and all of a sudden go party or go to a Major League Baseball game by July.
Right.
All that to explain,
So I mean, right now there's a lot of different things that they're talking about. There's like antiviral medications that they're using in like China and Japan right now. And those medications, there's clinical trials that have been put forward. Not enough statistical data to show that these are definitive treatments, but data that shows that these are helping out. There's a antiviral called favipiravir, called Avigan, that they used on Wuhan patients in China. That's been showing some positive results. Is like you said, the remdesivir. That's an antiviral that's been used. That's showing some. They've been trying antibodies, plasma antibodies, and trying to use those on people too. So basically, antibodies after somebody's already passed the infection, and now trying to inject those into people to see if that helps treat them. But the medication, those are not FDA approved over here in the States. The only medication that we've been playing with right now is Plaquenil, and that's the medication. It's a malaria drug. It's a drug that is used for treatment of rheumatoid arthritis. And that medication, there's talk out there that it doesn't work, that it does work. But I can tell you, based on the patients that I have with COVID-19, that about 2/3 of those patients got better in about 2 to 3 days once they got started on Plaquenil. So that's definitely been shown, especially if started in the beginning of their symptom phase when they have the shortness of breath.
How about the temperature? This is a question that people ask. When things heat up, it gets hot, after summer. Does that...
Yeah, well, they say that they've tested with heat, with UV light. That UV light actually disinfects people. But the thing about it is that it's not that light is not going to go into your body, from inside. But if you have the virus on you, like on your shirt, on your hat, or whatever, and you stand outside in front of the UV light, then it's definitely going to help to take that off you.
We're talking to the most relevant MC ever in hip hop, and the most relevant MC, especially at this time. MC, and he's an MD, and he got high marks in both of these. This is the COVID Crisis Talk Hip Hop Town Hall 101 with Lazarus, a.k.a. Dr. Khan. You kind of got, some experience with Russell Simmons and All Deaf digital experience. Tell us about that, man, before we go back to talk.
Yeah, man. So, my journey, man, this is at a phase when I was in medical school. So, I'm over here studying 16 hours a day, 12 to 16 hours a day, and I'm doing the medicine. And then it's like anytime I get, I just like you was talking about earlier, Chuck, man, sleepless nights. We don't sleep. And so basically when I'm not in the medical mode, man, I want to write rhymes. I'm constantly inspired to drop bars.
So what happened? Came up in Detroit. So just come up in Detroit, Eminem and all the cats out.
So Chuck, man, basically, look, man, I was born and raised in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? Just to kind of start at the beginning of the story, man, my father, he came from Pakistan. He came with $50 in his pocket and landed in Detroit City. So I came up, that's how I came up. And just being around him You know what I'm saying? And he used to drive the ice cream truck. You know, that he was driving the ice cream truck. And I used to think, you know, me and my brother would be in the ice cream truck thinking that, you know, he's selling ice cream. I was like, he was slanging on the ice cream truck. Mm-hmm. So it was like, I saw that. I was being around that. And even when growing up with my brother, you know, my older brother's a Kronk fighter. He's a fighter. He's a boxer, man. He knocked his first opponent out in 59 seconds at Joe Louis Arena in Detroit. Aretha Franklin was over there watching him on Ronald Hearns, Tommy Hearns' son's show, man. So he was a motivation for me because, you know, I came up in a time where I was made to feel less than a human being. And I'm not saying this to exaggerate something or say, I literally grew up feeling that I wasn't a human because I had experienced so much racism from people around me. You know, I'd be on a school bus, kids telling me, yo, take that sand off your face. Or we'd be getting vandalized, or, you know, my dad's car or a house would have spray paint on it saying sand nigger. And, you know, that was the type of trauma that caused for me, was just, I didn't know how to treat myself. Like, am I a human or am I less than human? That's the mentality I grew up with. So having an older brother that guided me, and, you know, a lot of the people of my ethnicity growing up, you know, they would kind of fall into this loop of, you know, just mind your own business, try to stay away from all the fighting, you know, just don't argue with nobody, just play your role. Keep yourself inferior and don't argue with nobody.
Apologize for knowing more than one language.
Yeah, but my brother told me, no, if somebody says some stupid shit to you, you punch them in the face. And so, you know what I'm saying? And then I started to change my outlook on life, especially when I started to learn about hip hop, man. And I came into listening to your work. You know what I'm saying? When I heard rhymes like, took a piece of America back, but who had it first? Hit an Indian curse, robbed and stole so much it ain't funny.
Now
you know what I'm saying?
Money, yeah. Well, the thing is, like, the Public Enemy came about to tell, you know, especially black folk here in the United States, to not cut yourself from the rest, you know? And the thing about it, when you have the rest of the world and the diaspora kind of showing the way how not to be a slave in the United States of America by embracing the world, it'll save you, even down to the medicine right now. Because there's a whole bunch of people talking like, well, how come Africans ain't getting it? And they don't really know the facts about all the different areas in there. So the facts is what will set you free. And the connection, since people got all these gadgets, if you ain't got a connection outside the United States of America, man, they'll tell you anything. And I've been saying for the last 4 years, regardless of what you think who you are and who you think you are here, the rest of the world been looking at this country like the clown show, man.
And so Chuck, and I want to say that this, man. Like, when hip hop was, I just got to say this and salute to you, man. At a time in hip hop, man, where everybody's talking about what it means to be, a criminal or to be hardcore, is like you a gangbanger, you selling dope on the street. But then here come Chuck D coming and saying, Indiana trees hanging us instead of leaves. We hanging from the ropes by real criminals. And you brought the spotlight on what's really going on. You know what I'm saying? And I really commend you for that, Chuck, to take it there.
It was a team, and it's a team thing. And this is what we say. Other people can emulate parts of that. Look, man, people, I think MCs now in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, they can't get away with saying the things that they did at 20, 19, 18. Leave it for them, but also lead it to them. So Wu-Tang, you was on tour with the Wu. I was wondering, like, wouldn't it behoove, like, RZA to say, listen, not only are you spitting, but we bringing you as the team doctor, as the Wu doctor, right?
Yeah, you got to talk to RZA. You got to talk to RZA about that, man. Go
Detroit. When you travel around, you need a doctor. Not only do you have a doctor, but you got a dude that opens up.
Yeah, man. Yo, talk to Eminem, talk to RZA. That's what I'm saying, man. Like, I came up in there. I came up with D12. You know what I'm saying? Swifty McVeigh is a mentor of mine. Kaniva, Bazaar. Shout out to the whole D12. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Royce 5'9". All them guys, man. I came up in that circle in that hip hop grind. You know what I'm saying? And it's an honor to have worked with them guys on multiple projects. But going back to the Wu-Tang, man, Ghostface Killah is the one that brought me to the whole clan. And, shout out to my man Divine 7'9", Ghost's cousin. Me and Ghostface got a record called Decapitation Chamber.
Yes, that's right. We played it on RapStation for sure. And,
And it's a little touchy subject, man, because we're talking about the current state of hip hop, and nowadays, as you know, Chuck, there's this mumble rap kind of phase going where people like to go and turn that into music. And one thing that I'm trying to get across is like, no, that's not it.
But Doc, you know what? That's okay. You just can't do it 3 years in a row.
Right.
After a while, you got to either go up or you got to go back down. The thing is when cats do that for a 5 to 8 year period and they look to see if they can extend it to 10, it ain't there no more. Then they turn 35, and then they have then they turn 40, and then they have the issues that we're talking about that you got to fix in a hospital.
Right. Yeah, and Chuck, I want to help to change the infrastructure of what's considered hardcore. You know what I'm saying? People out here saying that, okay, it's cool for me to be slanging my dope, you know what I'm saying, and I could be a rapper at the same time. But if you have studied to become a physician and actually help and save the world, now all of a sudden that's the nerdy thing to do. That's the corny thing to do. That's not considered hard. We ain't going to give you credit or no flowers for that or credit for it. And my whole thing is, look, man, I grew up around people that sold $20 weed bags and now they're in prison for a $20 weed bag. And you telling me that's hardcore? You know what I'm saying? What about going to school and studying and educating yourself?
And if you want to talk about the United States of America not giving a damn about 2 million people incarcerated, who they looked at the virus and like, well, they're expendable. You know, even if a cat got a traffic ticket, he gets locked down. He's susceptible to the same thing that's going around, and he could be there 2 or 3 days. And they have these things, no matter what state, you got to sign a waiver that says if you do get this illness inside about being incarcerated, that it can't be indemnified against the state.
Right.
Let's talk the titles, man, before we get into this crisis, the RapStation COVID crisis hip hop town hall talk with Lazarus, aka Dr. Khan. Go to MC side, living my dream, man on a mission, underdog, fearless, open heart surgery, raw as it get. MTBK stands for?
It's a Punjabi. It stands for Mundia to Bachke, beware of the boys in the Punjabi language. And another thing, Chuck, man, I rap in multiple languages. Hip hop is for the world, man.
Listen, we're on RapStation right now. If you go on the other side, we got 10 station channels. We got Planet Earth, Planet Rap, which is it's the only show segment in the hip hop world that plays the hip hop world. I've been saying this for the longest time. You in the United States of America, you got to understand this cat's, especially Africa, which is the future of hip hop. It's like, because it's 50 different areas, different languages, it's to braid and spit at the same time. But if you think that the best is always going to be in the United States because it started here, the same prejudice, and I'm saying hip-hop wise or style-wise, the same prejudice that United States people have towards the rest of the world is the same way that people felt at cats coming out of New York. Because, cats out of New York, man, everywhere else in the country. Nothing else qualifies, man. The same way I try to tell people across the United States, artists, said don't feel like the rest of the world ain't got nothing to say and connect to, because the way the New Yorker made you feel, that's how you making everybody else feel. And we got more MCs and more women from around the world making records, grouping up, producing, got record labels. More women, at least 30% of women around the world got hip hop alive and well. So you go get that RapStation app and get educated, and also get entertained, and don't get stuck in no time zone, because you have artists like hip hop gods who are making new records now relevant to the times that you can also dig. So don't get stuck in the time, waving and popping the 88 or 96 and all that. That's cool. Mm-hmm. These artists are still here, and if you don't take care of the art form, you lose it. Just like jazz, you lose it like the blues. You losing hip hop when you don't pay attention to it. So back to you.
But Chuck, hip hop is getting powerful, more and more powerful than any other form of music at this moment in time, man. I mean, I go to Pakistan. When I go back overseas, they listening to hip hop everywhere I look, man. So hip hop is a growing movement worldwide, more so, and it's picking up more steam than any other form of music. And I feel like it's becoming the most powerful music.
I'm gonna go and take a little break to come back. I'm gonna play this Open Heart Surgery. I think Marcel, if you over there, right, play this Open Heart Surgery, and we're gonna show, like, you know. And the thing that got me started on this, and I'm mad at Atlanta. You know, it's great to get, like, I think it's the Atlanta Daily Star or whatever. It's like, I already put the narrative out there that we have our own platform for me to speak instead of doing a million Instagrams, which I ain't doing, man. I don't even like to be seen a lot. Other people come on this platform. But, you know, they made it seem like crashing down on all the artists that's getting on Instagram Live or getting on Facebook or getting on Twitter or YouTube. Like, once again, we're going to point at Chuck because he's hating on them. See, that's slavery bullshit. And that's why I got this forum. That's so I could pontificate. But to tell people, like, you know, this clickbait headline thing, that's the thing that confuses the people anyway. Just because you got to get the most exciting thing to get everybody. And I tell people like this, man. If I could get 500 people, but if 200, you got to get the real story to it, you got to say, forget the other 300. But if you're up against the wall to try to get numbers because your boss tells you in order way to keep this, you got to do that. We're not a part of that. What we got to say, who comes along will get it. So right now, I'm going to play Open Heart Surgery. Marcel, you take it away, and we'll be back to close it out, you know, with a strong dialogue with the most relevant MC on the planet Earth. I've been in 116 countries. I'm telling you, he spits around the world. He's on the front line in his hospital, saving lives for real, not dreaming about saving lives, not talking. He's the MC and an MD. We'll be back. Listen to this song, Open Heart Surgery.
Woke up
Lazarus,
with a
a.k.a.
wonderful
Dr.
day.
K.
2 fat joints, a glass of OJ. I'm feeling real good, just got off the road, grinding hard, 25 shows, and I don't sleep, work all year round, but something telling me to sit my ass down. Got chest pains in my jaw, burning sensation, it's cutting like a chainsaw, heart beating fast, maybe cause I'm strong, feeling paranoid, home all alone. Is it my kidney or is it my liver? I got chills, I'm sweating like a river, and maybe I shouldn't get high like this, cause Lord knows I don't wanna die like this. So I passed out, hit the wall, hit the show, as I heard my neighbor yell.
This was patient Rufus Johnson, a 38-year-old African-American male brought into the ER by a heart ambulance with an acute MI. Okay, let's get Dr. Khan on the case and get the patient to the OR immediately.
Paging Dr. Khan to the OR stat. Paging Dr. Khan to the OR stat.
Patient on the table, blood pressure, vitals are stable, respiratory rate dip. Soon as this propofol drip hits him, he's intubated. Right over his vocal cord slipped, and out of consciousness he slips into the silence of abyss. I grab the scalpel, wipe the chest with betadine and alcohol, then tackle this decision to make this 8-inch incision. No pressure, patience, precision, focus the cloak of a surgeon. To grab the saw, cut open the sternum, retract the wall, and I can see the coronary artery of the heart is all plaqued up with cholesterol. The best to call the nurse, tell her to grab that shot of potassium, to passing him to stop the beat of the drum. But if we stop the heart, how does he live when the procedure is done? Got to shunt the blood to a machine that will artificially clean, pump it back to the body, give it life, but I'm limited 90 minutes, cause after that the tissues are finished and oxygen doesn't get back to the brain. So give me the leg, the sap in his veins, so I could make a graft of it, then I'ma grab my stitch. Needle driver, forceps, a hemostats and clips. Cut the vessel, sprays the rubber, keep following, aim the suction as I make a dissection. Detecting that I'ma need about 12 stitches to go around this 2mm section. On each end of the LAD, I didn't use a microscope to visualize what the eye can see. But this intensity is too immense for me. You know I've done this surgery endlessly. I'm stressing, breathing, sweating, my hand is shaking. I'm resting somebody's life within the every brink of my thinking. I'm only human, but assuming ain't got no room for no blinking. The hourglass goes low sinking. Got to stick to my heart's instincts to sew this heart back to existence. So it's tight so it's not leaking. Transfuse him so he's not bleeding. Take him off pump, get his heart rate up. Reconnect the aorta and vena cava. Wires used to realign the breastplate up. Put staples down his incision and walk away. He'll wake up. Wake up.
RapStation COVID Crisis Talk. I got this, but it's no socially distance because we online and COVID Crisis Talk Hip Hop Town Hall 1-on-1 with the most relevant MC/M going on right now, Dr. Khan, aka Lazarus. Open heart surgery. Tell us a little bit about that, man, briefly.
Yeah, man. So, being a hip hop artist and a physician at the same time, it was one of those fun records. It was the first record I put out with All Def Digital, which is Russell Simmons' brand. So, we were talking about that. I performed at Russell's house in 2013. He gave me a standing ovation, and I think you've seen that video. Mm-hmm. And then I got put on All Def Digital, so I reached back home in Detroit, man, and Bazaar from D12, actually, we started working on this project. And, Bazaar already had been calling me about medical advice all the time. And so I was like, why don't we do a record where I mesh the hip hop and the medical worlds, and we have him playing a patient that has chest pain and that ends up having to go to the OR, having to get a coronary artery bypass graft, and I'm the one performing the surgery. And I've actually done first assist on so many open heart surgeries that I'm like, why don't I take that knowledge and just put this on a hip hop record, man? And it was and we got an award for it, man, at the Underground Music Awards. I got the Song of the Year award for that song as well.
So your purpose in hip hop and as an MC, because I can imagine you have a lot of things thrown at you, like, dude, you're not this, you're not that, so why you got it like this and all. But it's crazy, not to say that a consciousness should prevail over everything, because you're making music, you're vibing and all that. But the thing about it, in this particular time, it's a shame that catastrophe got to get everybody on with their attention span up.
Yeah.
Always need to be balanced, but you can never rely on them to balance us.
Yeah.
And that's why you're an artist, you're an MC, you get well-rounded. And the last thing you want somebody to do is tell you, that is good, and this is what you should do. Women MCs have been going through that hell for forever. Some dude telling them how to be, whatever. And then they get all twisted up in the machine. An MC that knows a little bit more than what he's perceived or she's perceived to do gets told to dumb it down for the sake of money. Now everything is at square one, man. Right about now.
Yeah, and I feel like being at square one, I think this is the right time for us to rebuild the culture, man. And I think people need to take a strong reflection on what was and what wasn't relevant, man. And at this particular moment in time, I want to put the meaning, purpose, message, and passion back into the hip hop game, man. I want to put that back in so people could feel the words, people could feel where you're coming from and coming from a real source. I don't want to hear a hip hop record and feel like somebody wrote those rhymes for you and you're not really feeling that type of way. I like hearing music that's real, that comes directly from the heart and soul. And not, a lot of rappers, man, they talk about how good they are at rapping. And I feel like it's time for us to start using our rap skills and our ability to put rhymes together and actually do something positive for the world using those skills instead of just bragging with those skills. You feel me? And I think that's my purpose, man. And I want to show, because of who I am, because my skin color has always been kind of, you're not the right skin. It's not the right pigment or whatever it is. I want to be able to say that, look, at the end of the day, I identify with myself as being a human being. We're one people, one race. And I want to show with my music that hip hop can bring together people that are Anglo-Saxon, that are African, that are Chinese, that are Hispanic. Because at the end of the day, we all bleed the same. We all breathe the same. You feel me?
Well, at the end of the day, you got a hospital ward that got everybody up in there.
Right, exactly. And patients that are, sick or in front of me, man, they don't have, there's no race barrier there.
We're going to have on this, I'm going to call Too Solid, but I'm going to try this. I'm going to do this like 2 weeks in a row, maybe a third week in a row with my man Marcel. But I'm going to definitely tie this with next week. I'm going to actually on this forum talk to Kristen Lawless, who wrote the book formerly known as Food, which talks about weaponizing of food, which made me and the group Enemy Radio, which is like the sound system component of Public Enemy, make that song and video, Food as a Machine Gun, because now it looks like the United States of America, they got massive cars lining up in Pittsburgh, Minnesota, Florida for food banks.
Yeah.
How is that happening right now? And the intake of food It's like causing some of even the problems. Got to fix it.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much, Chuck, man. There's so much poison out there. All this fast food that's out there, man. All these preservatives that they're putting in all our food. At the end of the day, you're ingesting and you're putting this stuff in your body, and you're causing your cholesterol levels to go up. You're causing your blood pressure to go up. You're causing your blood sugars to go out of proportion. So, what is the number one cause of death? We could talk about homicide and suicide all we want, but what is the number one cause of death? It's coronary artery disease. It's when your arteries get plaqued up. It's when you get the cholesterol built up. And what's causing that is what people don't like to talk about. It's the food we eat. It's that poison that they're feeding us for 99 cents, out there on the fast food joints. So we definitely need to take what we put into our body serious, man. And, people need to definitely eat organic foods and make sure that their food is clean. At the end of the day,
it's hard to get that type of food.
It's hard to get, and that's just the way. That's the way society has been set up, because society wants us to fall down this road of having to be hospitalized for having these kind of conditions.
Well, we're going to go maybe on the other side of the hour and talk for about 15 more minutes past the hour. We got 9 minutes to the hour. We'll talk to Dr. Khan, a.k.a. Lazarus, the most relevant MC pertinent to this point of catastrophe. Tell us about, how should somebody go about living life this summer, bro?
Man, yeah. So, there's a lot of people out there, man, and I know there's people panicking because everybody's on pause. Everybody's stuck at home, and nobody's able to carry out their regular routine in their businesses. But, man, as a physician who's seeing what's going on directly in front of me, man, I advise everybody to continue. Just use this time wisely, man. Let this time be a time for you to reconnect with people in your life that you weren't connected with. Spiritually build yourself. Like we was having it, Chuck. Is a time you was able to get some sleep, get some rest. Regroup and with your spiritual self and reflection, because we need this time right now. Because if we're not ready, we still got 25,000 cases every single day that are popping up with this virus, and people say, okay, let's go back to our normal routine. And there's a lot of other things killing people. Why do we have to put everything on pause? But the bottom line is, if we do go back to it now, we don't know what kind of catastrophe we're going to have. We have, 1.1 million people who have it in the U.S. right now, 64,000 deaths. But that's based on us being quarantined. If we let the quarantine out right now, these numbers might dramatically increase to a level where we can't contain it. So we need at least another couple months. We need the summer to chill out.
So everybody has to get tested in your mind.
I don't think everybody has to get tested. No, I think that's going to be overkill to do that. I think people should only get tested if they're developing the symptoms and they start getting short of breath. I think until that moment comes, everybody needs to chill at home and just, continue to boost their immune system, eat healthy, and basically take hold of those measures that we talked about earlier.
You got the organizations that are out there. Somebody could say, well, the WHO mean that or the CDC mean that.
Yeah.
If they tell you something like next flu season, you get the double dose or something that could be very difficult, you should pay attention to that, right?
Right. No, you definitely need to. But there's so many degrees of uncertainty out there that, we have to obviously double check where the sources are and who's saying what, and this and that. And there's a lot of doctors, man, like Dr. Not to really throw people under the bus, but the Dr. Oz's and Sanjay Gupta's. These people are not on the front lines. These people are not directly seeing these patients. They're relying on information coming from the World Health Organization or from the CDC or other places. But, I'm able to, I like to provide that information that I know for a fact is true.
And they can't bust a relevant ball.
That's the other part of it.
They can't bust no ball. They ain't with nobody. It's like they're a bunch of TV doctors, man.
Right, exactly, man. And busting a bar, that's communication. Hip hop is communication for me. Like I don't look at hip hop as like, man, I'm gonna put this record on and start, dancing. I mean, right now it's a time for us to use this hip hop to educate the people. We need to use hip hop to educate the masses, because the young kids, they're not going to listen to their teachers and the preachers, and they're not going to listen to those people, but they sure as hell will listen to that hip hop record.
There's a way that you could make, conscious music move you. And we know the last two generations, they listen with their eyes. So there's a lot of things they could see that move them too. And I think one thing that maybe some of the older school artists don't register is that they don't listen the same way. They process different aspects of experience through their eyes, through their senses, style, and all those things figure in there. But if dumbassification gets elevated with those sensories, and a little bit of consciousness helps you just get through your day and not be depressed.
Right.
That's a big up. There's a lot of people that, if they ain't got nothing wrong with them, curing depression is a mother, man.
Yeah. And the depression, especially right now, we going through probably the most massive Great Depression that there could be, because right now everybody's being laid off, no jobs, no money. People are depending on this money that they're going to get from the government that may or may not come. I know so many people that aren't even getting those checks that they've been promised. And it's like, what do? They're people, especially living hand to mouth. They're not even to provide for their families. So what are they supposed to do at this time?
Yeah, and I think the catastrophe, just to say that the trauma that's coming with food, we're going to be talking to DJ Cavum on the phone and also Supernova Sloan on the phone, just briefly leading into next week's discussion with Christian Lawless about her book, formerly known as Food, and Dr. Khan will be here as well as they talk. But, we got a couple of minutes to wrap this segment up, man. We want to play a song, that freestyle joint that you did on Shady Radio on Sirius XM. Up to Shady Radio and everybody at Sirius XM. I'm a subscriber, and I dig it. And tell us about that. How did that happen that day? I was brought on Shade 45, man. And it's like when they bring the rappers out there, you bust the flow. So I had kind of, I was in a mood at that time where it's like, man, there's so many mumble rappers and so many people that's trying to degrade this culture that's been so beautifully created by individuals such as yourself, that I feel like, man, I got to jump on here and show these people what a real MC is, man. And at the end of the day, man, hip hop is in my heart and soul, man. And I commend you so much for being the person who you are, to have influenced the greatest minds in hip hop history to get to this point, and then now to have this dialogue with you. I want to take hip hop to the next level, man. That's what I'm trying to do, and I'm trying to be that person, and I'm trying to show that through my rhymes and through what I do when I'm not on the mic. We're gonna have on the other side of this, Lazarus, Dr. Khan. On the other side of this, he's gonna spit this. You're gonna get a little bit of this freestyle, get on Shade, because everybody, when they go up there, they gotta be ready. Recently brought up my man Chris Payne, who's on my label, and he just spit it and let it go. Laz, this is here in Lazarus on Shade 45.
Might be that time, Laz.
All right. We'll be back to talk
I'm
to
throw that beat on, man.
And also DJ Cable.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
Laz in the studio. Shade 45. Let's go.
I'm the ruler, the leader, mumble rapper eater. I don't fantasize, I will sanitize this rap game as I rise, calculated like I'm Jack the Ripper. Ripped up every phony rapper in the mixture. Picture me killing you with nothing trace. Slap a Kardashian, pull Kanye out the sunken place. No luck to chase record deals with my reputation, cause your agenda is feminization. I'm male testosterone, here's a Mufasa clone. Time to resurrect my big L Biggie Pac bones. My foes locked in crossbows. This brown face got you dazed like I'm old show. Killer 100 MCs in 6 seconds and split seconds like Quicksilver. They're running back for your pleasure in slow-mo. Kick in the dough, wave in the fofo. All you heard was Dr. Don't hit me no more. With the antibiotic, hallucination presentations, lyrics leave you psychotic. All the drug dealers coming to me for their product. Everything I speak is narcotic, something hypnotic. Chop the limbs off of these rappers like the gangrenous and necrotic. Come on baby, I got it, let me demonstrate. Critics all around me bitter, let them hate. Discredited for my skin color, forget a race. Cause I'ma rip and use your skin like Leatherface. Levitate to the top of the food chain. When I'm not a doctor on my toe with the Wu-Tang. Only competition for me, Clark Kent or Bruce Wayne. I'm not a human, something Kryptonian, ahead of my time. You best to put some plutonium inside that old DeLorean. Go back to the future, Pac's back from Cuba inside your taxi cab. God, I'm trying to do good, but I'm Michael Jackson bad. They try to push me off the edge like Grandmaster Flash. Still standing for my rights like Malik El Shabazz. Killer, legal drug dealer. Don't worry about no jail cell, making bucks bigger. My finger on a gun trigger when I configure to resurrect and redefine an artistry. Hip-hop is a part of me, the forefathers of the game calling me. They wrote the Constitution, you broke the law, abused it. Now I'm here to punish you, put you all in nooses. I'm ruthless, moving like Decepticon the Autobot. Rising from the underground like Oswald Cobblepot. I monopolize on your lies, now realize that I will stop till I colonize my colonizers. Optimize my brain matter, thick as snake leather. My 3 minutes with 9 mil like Mayweather. And I will slay whether it's winter or spring weather. Me and Lord see it together like the Emperor and Vader. Here come the Cape Crusader. Got the soul to make Richard Dawkins go pray to his creator. I'ma rock the bury my enemies, punching power of a Mike Tyson with the heart of Tyson Fury. Now it's time to worry when this brown man get off with an all-white jury. They wanna call me terrorist. Might as well be bombing your favorite lyricist. Aim sharper than Robin Hood with the arrows. I'm Harry Houdini, you can't put me in shackles. Discipline in my blood like Ivan Drago's. Got all the gems on my gauntlet like Thanos. Indestructible but never comfortable. The way I touch the floor, rip and slay ya. Climb as high as the peaks of K2, Mount Everest, Himalayas. So you better say your prayers when you see Lazarus come out the way. Break foes, snatch you out your dollars, rupees, pesos. Underdog, swinging at your guts like Lomachenko. Verbally, send your whole squad to come and murder me. I still walk away with the crowd like Freddie Mercury. Laz Army, mumble rapper killer, come see me, come see me. What up, Detroit? What up, Dream Team?
God
Shout out to my mentors, Ghostface Killer. Shout out to D12, Swifty McVeigh, Obi Trice.
Yes,
shout out to Chuck D. You know what I'm saying? Y'all made me me.
What's up? I'm back. It's the COVID Town Hall Hip Hop Crisis on RapStation. It's our debut. I'm not going to be doing this every week. I'm not trying to be hip hop's Ted Koppel. You know what I'm saying? I like to be heard, and I'm on the other side doing the And You Don't Stop radio show every week for 11 years. If you want to learn about hip hop, you want to know about it from the world's perspective, what's going on, who's putting out whatever, stop listening to all that garbage out there. We break it down like no other. You damn right. I do this. Been doing this for like 40 years, and I'm breaking down from the newest to the oldest breaking artists. We've been breaking like 10 situations a week, me personally, and our whole station breaks 20 artists a week. So, like I said, the underground, the underground, the popular, the hip-hop gods, women in hip-hop, man, we got stations that do 24 hours. I don't want to hear anybody talk about I love hip-hop, and then if I give them a quiz, they fail it. That's what I'm saying, Laz. It's like
right.
The way BET, they have to ask at our culture and our genre. I'm mad at the rock boards, you know. I just put 4 million people the last 4 years with Prophets of Rage. The hip hop community didn't even know about that. That's cool or whatever. But I'm just like saying the rock world, they about that. And you know, like hip hop, it's like the crib is made with the same materials.
Right.
The rock world they building on you, it's organized. And then at the same time, they tell us that we got to be a slum. I mean, our music changed the world. And if you don't take care of your music, it can't change anything. And that has something to do all the way down to our well-being, man, who we are, where we come from, how we can change the world. And that's why it's an honor to have you on. And I'm going to go even further, as I'm also going to look to some people on the chat and just wave a hollering a shout out.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, man. Just gotta, just stay at it and keep doing whatever we can, to better ourselves and better our families and better the communities around us, man. And we have to be proactive. This is a time where we can't rely on negative energy. We gotta maintain positive energy. There's a lot of people, man. They focus their entire lives on negativity, man. We gotta stay positive and we gotta keep ourselves motivated because we never know when we're gonna go. We never know. Did Fred the Godson know that he was going to pass right now? You know what I'm saying? Life could go on. We were talking about the other day. We was talking about Kobe Bryant. Did Kobe Bryant feel that, everything that he had in his world was going to just disappear in one helicopter ride?
Right. We're going to play, I think, Marcel, I'm going to play the video at the end and not right now because I just want to finish talking to Dr. Khan, a.k.a. Lazarus, the most relevant MC of our time, because right now in the crisis, while we're having the Hip Hop Town Hall one-on-one, the crisis talk, what's the next step? I think we covered that ground. We covered the fact that it's a crime that, like, I had Supernova Slum on for years, and as much knowledge as he has and he's put into his music. Same thing with Cave-em. When you see, from Colorado, these guys been spitting and doing their thing for so long, totally ignored.
Totally. Because it doesn't follow the formula. It's not the formula.
So when anybody comes, even with the saving grace, it puts to the side. It works the same way as fast food works. It's like, you know what? we're going to stuff you with stuff to kill you. Not to like throw shade on somebody that might just like, I'm not talking about all that. I'm just like, you know, this is what we're going to do, whatever. And it's another vodka commercial, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying the balance. And it ain't about me. I've had my career. My job is to build a platform for brothers like and sisters like y'all who feel that you don't have to be stranglehold into not, you know, into doing something that you feel that you don't have to do. You should be able to do what you feel, and this is who you are. And this is the biggest, the fast fooding of not only the body, but the mind and the soul through the culture and through the music. And that's why I built RapStation in the first place. People want to talk about, you know, like, well, Chuck D fighting the power. I built this thing, you know, 20 years ago and refined it 10 years ago, and I've been doing a show 11 years in a row. Now, I'm not begging anybody to come along and check out how I'm presenting a platform for rap music and hip-hop, but the artists understand. And the art understands all around the world. And I'm like saying that when people talk about fighting a power, you don't understand how to identify a power and how to fight. There ain't no fight you're going to do. You're going to be like what President Obama used to call a talking head.
Yeah.
You make sure that you are able to build platforms, to be able to have people who might be considered proteges to grow on, because pop can save the world, man. I done seen it save country.
Yeah.
Seen it save people.
Yeah.
I done make a person feel like I'm beat up and I'm ossified, I'm bullied and whatnot, and made them say, you know what, I feel strong, I feel strength from this. But if you have a lot of individuals, and one thing that this society has exceeded, physically, they just recently said, you know what, you got to have 6 feet of distance. But they already distanced us from each other.
Right.
Alone. People are distanced from their own self. So
exactly.
Bring people back together. You got to be together with yourself before you even and in this time and space right about now, if a situation does not even recognize, not one iota of what a person like you have been able to deliver on the front lines of both,
to
energize, synergize, and save lives, man, and that means somebody like me goes on attack. This is what I do. I fight the power in the area that I'm at. I'm not an economist. I ain't a preacher. I ain't a politician. I'm in the damn media, and I attacked it ever since in the 80s. So if you knew to get no mind where I've been here since 1999 and to find out this is what I do or whatever area of politics I attack, if you ain't up on that speed, you don't even come out of your face trying to come and criticize.
Right. It's like this, Chuck. You know, you got this barrier, right? So you got like, to me, like, I know what I offer to the world. I know what I'm able to offer to better the world. And then this barrier that is preventing me from reaching the people. But now, you know, we got our social media, so I can see, does my message affect people? And when I see people around the world that are messaging me and telling me that, look, this is the information we need, this is helping us, kids that are growing up the way I grew up telling me now I have a way to actually progress in my life with confidence. Now I see those results, and now I just have to cross this barrier of people that's trying to block this message from being passed on a major platform to the rest of the world.
Well, I'm here to tell you and to tell y'all out there, there's a reason why maybe big business wants to be able to keep things a certain way. We won't get into this or that, but if you're on Instagram, if you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, if you're on Twitter, and you get sent to the social media police by saying something beneficial to people, then you need somebody to fight for you at all times and not censor you if you're saying and doing the right thing. If you're acting a goddamn fool and saying something that can't be proved outside of your mind and your head, then that might be a reason for their public, Bill Gates or whatever platform, or Zuckerberg platform, to shut you down. This is why I built RapStation. This is why I got my man, the Magic Man Marcel. I built this thing. We built it for speed. If 25 people come, I look at them like 25 martial artists. You'd rather have 25 martial artists get you out the room than 200 people that can't know how to fight. So we do this.
Like you said, remember giving the keys to somebody who can't even drive the car.
Yo, man, I mean, listen, man, I have fun with my life. I don't have fun with my life on the public forum. It's like, get it, do what you do, get the hell up out of the way. I'm in the entertainment business. I'm on stage, meaning if I'm on stage for an hour, there's 23 parts of the day, other hours that I do with my time. But my job on the stage is to burn it on the stage and burn the stage down. My job when I do a recording is to burn that recording down. Other than that, the job is to be on here an hour and a half and talk to people like you. My job is to pass the baton and let the world know, like a prism, the shine light that comes to me, to shine it on you, because you're the one that, steers the world. Your age category and underneath steers this world. It's our job to divert this light to those that are willing to steer this car and this vehicle. And hip-hop needs people to know how to drive it behind the wheel instead of driving it into the ditches. And that's my key.
I appreciate that, man. Coming from the godfather of hip-hop, music, and culture, man, that means the whole world to me.
Yeah, man. Give us some contact that you need people to lock into your social media and all that. And then just tell everybody, you keep your social media out there. The minute they're going to charge you for your content, they're going to charge you. That's how they're going to charge you, and they're going to shut you down if you force them. So I'm just telling you, get your .com, get your own server system. You're a creator, store your own goods. They one hack away from going. I don't hope that they go down. They're good. They're great promotional. They're great for promotion. But if you want to live on these areas and put all your family pictures up there or your music pictures, I mean, do it at your own risk. I'm telling you, I've been in this joint since '99, man. 99.
I've been hacked so many times already, man. They're trying to hack me left and right, bro.
And I enjoy. I mean, I only do Twitter, but my team does the Instagram. My team. Facebook and all that. I try to avoid Instagram and Facebook. I do Twitter. I put headlines. I promote this show. I promote our platform. Great for promotion, not great to live and set up shop as your house. Leave it at that. Here at RapStation, this was the COVID Crisis Talk Hip Hop Town Hall 101 with the most. I said this about 10 times, lad. Listen, man. The most relevant MC of our time probably ever in hip-hop, because I ain't never seen no time like this before. Cats is scared. They're really straight up laughing. Cats is nervous.
No, they scared, man. I see the fear is everywhere.
If they're young and think they can't get it, they're nervous about coming home to their mother. Right. If they like, God, there ain't nothing, we gonna go to a beach and all that. You see somebody in the periphery that got it, they like, yo, this is. When they see these numbers go up, whether they want to believe them or not, cats is like, they looking like, yo, this is deep. We don't want it to be the summer of 2020 where cats is like, yo, I didn't think it was going to be like this, going into a fall of flu, which is going to be double the problem. Right. What's that? Not to say I doubted any of this. I always figure out how.
You can't take anything for granted. Anything could go at any minute, at any time. So we have to be grounded. We got to stay humble, and we got to stay positive. Everybody, they can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at LAZ Detroit, Laz Detroit. Make sure you guys check out my Vlad TV interview. Y'all could just go to YouTube and search Lazarus Rapper or Dr. Khan, and you'll be able to pull up a lot of my music that I've done over the years with Royce the 5'9", D12, Ghostface Killer. Plenty of solo records, all that Chuck D isn't supporting.
What made you come up with the name Lazarus as an MC name?
Yeah, Lazarus is a biblical name, man. It's a character that was resurrected. And, I was spawned, I was spawned as a rapper after 9/11. I had been rapping before that, but, when 9/11 happened, and that was another major incident that was talked about all over the world, was that, that spawned so much hate towards my ethnicity. And I had gotten so many hate crimes after that, and people telling me that I can't pursue entertainment through hip hop because of who I was and what I looked like and my skin, that I had to, when a friend of mine was telling me about the Lazarus character and how you got to just take that passion that you have and resurrect it. You can't let nobody put that down or kill it. And that was just me resurrecting that passion of hip hop after everybody told me to kill it, and then also resurrecting the hip hop culture and game that y'all created.
I feel that. I definitely feel that. Thank you, Doctor. Dr. Khan, Dr. Khan, the MD, and Lazarus, the MC. I salute you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Let's unify the people, and let's take this machine of fear and let's put it to rest. And, we got to understand that, this is a time where we need to stay positive, stay focused, stay alert, and watch out for this misinformation that's being spewed to us left and right through these media sources that are not our gods. You know what I'm saying? We have to rely on the fact that
not our gods or our guides.
Right, exactly. And then we have to stay true to our creator and be humble human beings.
That's peace. Next week we'll follow this up with Christian Lawless, another town hall. Wrote the book formerly known as Food. That's almost like a part 2. Might be calling you up, Doc, to speak on that, because what's going down this May, June, and July is a serious food crisis, and also feeding people into the same thing that's going to end up knocking off droves. The way it looks right now, unfortunately, I don't want it to look like that. I don't want to be the dude like I'm the hip-hop Ted Koppel, only with grim news, and I'm on the other side doing radio shows that are exciting with music and stuff like that.
Speaking of food, man, opening my fast for Ramadan right now. So I'm gonna let some nutrients flow real quick.
Salams to you, bro. All right, signing out. I think maybe also another show will be down the line with just me and Marcel going to let y'all know what y'all do and what not to do with social media and things that you are electronically signing your life and your content away to, because they want to hack away, man. I'm trying to tell you that. Since 99, I ain't knew this. I've probably been here a long time before y'all was born. So know what y'all stepping into before you actually think that this thing is your friend. I'm in the work.
Real quick, I want people to look out for that new record with me and Fred the Godson, man. We started this record before he passed away. The song is called Fit In, produced by 80 Empire with Max Nano and Bishop Lamont. It's coming out next week. Y'all need to look out for that, man. And I literally had to get in the studio when the engineer was scared to even record me. But really? I was like, yeah, everybody's scared. Even the studio was shut down. They opened the studio for me to record this verse because I told them how powerful and significant it would be for this time.
We lost Fred the Godson just
Rest in peace to that brother.
Anybody that don't think this thing is real and they think that their age is protecting them or their melanin, come on, man, for real. In the breeze, I'm in the wind. I'm Chuck D. I'm gone. Peace.
Lazarus, Dr. Khan, salute.